I just wanted to make a quick video to make sure that everybody who saw my presentation on ChatGPT and using Python to get combinations and permutations, I just wanted to make sure that you guys didn't miss anything, so you can try this on your own. So one of the things we did is we went to ChatGPT and we logged in using our school Google account. And then we prompted ChatGPT to write the code that would do something with combinations or permutations. I'm going to try this. Actually, you know what? I think I might cheat a little bit. I'm going to look at something that I typed before that did work. So let's go back and look at that. So my initial prompt was write the Python code for listing all possible combinations of a string of letters. There we go. That's pretty good wording. I think with ChatGPT sometimes you just have to play around with the wording and until you get what's right. Now, this was something where I thought I would like to demonstrate the idea of recursion to my programming students. And so this code that they initially gave me, recursion in programming is when a function calls itself, which is not very different from a recursive function in math. So anyways, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to do the same thing it just did, but to use recursion. Please give me the code using recursion. Okay, so now it's giving me the code. What happens is when you want to try to find combinations or permutations, recursion is really kind of the only way to get it done for unlimited length of characters. Because if you want to write the code explicitly without recursion, you end up having to explicitly make the correct number of loops for the number of characters you have. With recursion, it'll just take whatever number of characters you give it and it'll do it. Now, the only problem is this is just going to take ABC or whatever. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what it does. So I'm going to go into, this is a website called pythontutor.com, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the Python link, and then I'm going to click on Edit Code, and then delete all of this, and then I'm going to paste the code that I copied from the ChatGPT and say Visualize Execution. And over here is where we're supposed to see the output, but I have to come down here and click on the last button to get it to execute the code over and over until it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and say last, and when I do, I see that I've got a bunch of combinations, but notice that the combinations that I got are all of varying length. Actually, let me get in here, and I just want to see what happens if let me go back and edit this code. And let's put in a longer string of letters, 5, and then visualize execution and play through all the way to the last. And again, you can kind of see, okay, so you've got a whole bunch of combinations, but they're all different lengths. So we want to fix that. And by the way, I apologize that it's all scrunched in here. We're going to see if there's a way to get a better output. Oh, drag. Let's try to do this. Drag the corner. Hey, there we go. That's a little better. Anyways, still, I think we could get a better output than that. So let's see here. The next thing I did was asked ChatGPT, what if I wanted to specify some number of characters in the out of the original string. Let's see here. Can you write the code for that? Let's try that. So ChatGPT says, certainly, if you want a certain number of characters to be selected to form the combinations, you can modify the code accordingly. And it looks like here in the code they provided me, they have a sample of a string of 3 letters, and then they say selected 2. So let's see how it works. So I'm going to, oh, and by the way, I know this is a recursive function, that they did use recursion, because here is the function name helper, and then here inside the function, it is calling itself. Sort of like what happens when you have recursive math. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy the code. Let's go back here. Let's go ahead and edit this code. And then we'll delete all this, and we will paste the new code, and we will run, and we'll make sure that we go all the way to the last step in the program. And now you can see, look at that, it actually worked. We started with ABC, and we took all the combinations of 2 letters. Okay, let's just see. Now see, this is the beautiful thing about learning how to code, is once you know how to do some coding, and I'm not saying that this is teaching you how to do code, but once you have the ability to write programs, you can generalize and you can get them to do very powerful things. So I'm just going to throw in and make this string bigger. Let's go D, E, F, G. And then let's say that we want 4 characters at a time. Let's just go nuts here. So I'm going to go ahead and visualize execution. And then I'm going to go ahead and, stop, since this run produced more than 2 megabytes of data. Yeah, okay. Well, okay. So now remember, I'm using a free website, and that's part of the problem right there. Okay, I got a little gung-ho. Let's just do A, B, C, D, E, and we'll just do 3 letters at a time. So visual execution. And then last. And this time the code ran no problem, and we can look at the list. So now we've got a list. If you have 5 characters and you want to find out how many combinations of 3 you could get out of those 5, here is the list. Okay. The only thing I don't like about this list is that it's not that easy to follow it, because it's I don't like the horizontal list. I'd prefer vertical. Let's see here. Let's try to get ChatGPT to help us. Can you make it so the output is a vertical organized list? Let's see what ChatGPT says. Sure, why not? Okay, all right, let's see what happens. Let's copy the code. Let's go back here. Let's hit edit this code. And let's get rid of all this and paste the new code. And let's go DE, and with 3 letters, and then let's run. And let's go all the way to the end of the program. And there we go. Vertical list. Look at that. Now, for anyone who's ever taught combinations and permutations, one of the things that maybe you've tried to do is make sure that people understand what's the pattern. What's the best way to actually list all of the possible outcomes? And you'll notice they did a pretty good job here. A, B, C, A, B, D, A, B, E. ACD, ACE, ADE. They did a really good job of listing this in a very organized way. So the code works, and we get the output. Let me go just a little further. Let's see how far I can push this thing before it says we run out of memory. I'm going to do 6 letters, and we're going to try 4 at a time, because now we're getting into something that would be harder for students to write out on their own. And nevertheless, they might have an interest in visualizing this. And sure enough, it was able to do it no problem. Here is a list of all, taking 4 characters at a time out of a list of 6. Boom, it did it quickly. And again, you can see the pattern. Pretty neat. Let me go a little further, because you and I have another minute or so. Let's try. I'm going to add a 7th letter, and we're going to try maybe taking 5. Oh, you know what? This is interesting. You might recall, let me do more like 3 and see. I think I want a really long list, and let's see how it goes. So visual execution. And let's go last. Now I produced a ton of data doing that. Well, that's unfortunate. What if I edit and I say, I don't want to do 2 at a time. Let's just get rid of the G, and we'll do 3 and see what happens here. Last. Is that a nice long? Oh yeah, that's a pretty long list. So kids could do it, but this would be something that'd be a little bit tougher. You know, the funny thing is we're not really producing that much data, but I think the reason the Python program is having problems is because of the recursion. When you use recursion, you end up storing a lot of information in memory, and it's possible that could be having a negative impact. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to add before we're done. Okay, maybe one more thing is maybe we will ask for the code for permutations. So can you do the same thing for me but with permutations? Let's see what ChatGPT can do. Certainly. Here it is. We've got the same deal. You get 3 characters. You give it 3 characters. You ask for 2 at a time, and you want to print the list vertically. So it's trying to do everything that I asked. Let's go ahead and edit this code. Let's get rid of everything here. Oops. Everything here related to combinations. And let me just see just one sec. Sorry about that. Just want to realign my video. Let's paste in the new code regarding permutations. Let's send this guy out to more letters and see what happens. Let's go ahead. We're going to take 3 at a time, all permutations from 6 letters. Visual execution. It crashed. It didn't like it. Let's try 5 letters. And let's visual execution. Sometime or another I'll have to do this with a different Python environment, and then maybe I can show you more outcomes. But look at this. Look at that. That's a long list. That's pretty cool. Okay. This is something that would be challenging for students to do, but you can demonstrate, hey, look, this is what we get. Oh, well, we could do a couple of things to make this more interesting too. Like, for one thing, it's hard for us to count how many there are. When you go to use the formula and you say P5, 3, you get some number. Let's go ahead and see if we can just add a number. So since this prints out the permutation, I'm going to go ahead and say edit this code. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a counter. I equals 0, and then I'm going to print I. Let's, for you guys who are not used to computers, let's start with 1, and then we will say I comma permutation, and then after we print we will say I plus equals 1. That'll make I go up every time, so it'll count the number of permutations for us. So I'm going to go ahead and do visual execution. We will run all the way to the last, and now what we can see is that if we run this code and we want all these permutations, we've got 60 of them. So I'm assuming if we go and do P 5, 3, it's going to be 60. Ooh, shall we try? Let's get Google to see what it can do. So we do P maybe I can't remember how to get a Google calculator to do this, but 5, 3. Let's see what happens. It takes me to calculator soup, and that'll do it for me. And we've got 5 objects, and we want permutations of 3, and we calculate. Sure enough, there's 60 of them, but it does not list all 60 of the output. But with our code, we can see it, and we can see the pattern, and students can take something that's rather abstract and make it more concrete. That's all I got.